teams facing off as we get set to go. Macy Montgomery getting the start in the circle. First pitch comes in a ball on Billie Andrews. And we'll talk more about Billie Andrews as the game goes on because she had a stellar first game. 1-0 count to start off for Billie Andrews. Swing and a miss. And this quick little pause gives us an opportunity to meet the starting batting order for Nebraska. Billie Andrews in the 1 spot, Caitlin Caneda at 2, Sydney Gray at 3. 4, 5, 6 is Maya Felder, Brooke Andrews, Abbie Squier, 7, 8, 9, Ava Bredwell, Caitlin Neal, and Abbie Newland. Here's the 1-1 swing and a ball on the ground up the middle. A base hit for Billie Andrews to kick things off, and Andrews does exactly, or picks up, I should say, exactly where she left off yesterday. 3 hits, a double. She was walked as well, scored 2 runs. She starts off with a single today.
Exactly. Hit it right back where it came from. I mean, that's an ideal. No one up the middle. Do that, you're going to get on base 9 times out of 10.
And that'll bring in Caitlin Caneda. Before she's up, let's take a look at the defensive lineups for Indiana. Again, in the circle, Macy Montgomery. Behind the plate, Avery Parker at first, Sarah Stone. Second, Taryn Kern at third, Brianna Copeland. We'll pause for the first pitch upstairs on Caneda. At shortstop for Indiana, Brooke Benson. In left field, Cassidy Kettleman. Getting the start, Kinsey Mitchell in center field, and Taylor Minnick in right. So that's our lineup for the top halves of the innings today. Here in the top of the first, Billie Andrews led off with a single. Now the 1-0 to Caneda. Stays to the left of the zone. 2-0 count, Caneda is ahead.
Caneda, a freshman from Cerritos, California. She said that she picked Nebraska, and she called it her home away from home. That's why she picked it. She said the visit was that good.
Yeah, and she's really settling into home as well. She's 4th in the Big Ten in batting average. Swings on the 2-0. Kern corrals it, sends it over to first. 1 out. And Andrews will advance on the throw to second. So 1 down now. Caneda goes out, grounds out 4-3. Andrews now in scoring position. And that's the first kind of difference. I know it's very early in the game, but there's the first kind of difference from what happened yesterday. I mean, really, the 1 through 5 spot in the Cornhusker lineup rattled off hit after hit, really throughout the entire game. Here, Indiana manages to find 1 out. In comes Sydney Gray. First pitch to her, pops up a foul ball, taking 1 hop off the Indiana dugout. So Gray starts off with an 0-1 count.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Whenever your top of your lineup's able to start off that well, you're going to have a lot of success. So we'll see if IU can kind of hold them a little bit more at bay today.
Here's the 0-1. Gray takes. Call it 0-2. Sorry about that graphic, folks. That is, again, Sydney Gray up to the plate. She's ready for an 0-2. Swing from Gray and landing in the glove of Cassidy Kettleman. What a play in left. We'll await for the signal. And they're going to say it took a skip off the ground.
I don't know if I agree with that call. I'm going to be honest. I thought it went straight into her glove. We'll see the replay.
Take it. Yeah. Ooh, that is close. If we could see that again. Here comes Coach Stanton. And she comes right out of the dugout. Kettleman can't believe it and left. If we could see that one more time. So the call is going to stand. That ball drops for Gray. So 1 out now and runners on the corners.
I got to tell you, that was not an easy play in left either. That thing sank real fast.
Yeah. So Billie Andrews at third, Sydney Gray at first, Maya Felder up at the plate with a 1-0 count. Pitch in the dirt. Avery Parker is able to corral and hold the runners at the corners. And again, I mean, we talked about how they got the first out. That would have been a big out there, but now another situation 2 days in a row where Nebraska's threatening. Here's the 2-0 to Felder. Felder checks her swing. The appeal to the third base umpire, Naomi Erdahl. She went, is the call.
I mean, what's even bigger, that would have been a double play, too. I mean, that would have ended the inning. They would have been cutting off the field quick.
2-1, swing and a miss. Count even at 2.
Compare it to last night when they gave up 3 runs in the first inning. That would have been a huge way to start.
Now it's up to Indiana to try and respond. And meanwhile, for Nebraska, they are certainly looking to start the scoring early. Here's a big pitch, 2-2 from Montgomery to Felder. A 1 hop off the dirt. Montgomery checks to second, then gets the out at first. A run does score, so Nebraska strikes first. Billy Andrews comes home. Maya Felder is out at first, so 2 down. Sydney Gray advances to second.
There's a big moment here for IU. You got 2 outs, chance to get out of the inning. Last night gave up 10 out of the 12 runs with 2 outs. Even in that second inning, they had 2 outs, no one on, and then went ahead and gave up 4. So huge time to get out of this inning.
Brooke Andrews now up to the plate for Nebraska. Takes upstairs. Brooke Andrews, the elder sister of Billy Andrews, one who just came home and scored the first run of the game for the Cornhuskers. Let's see if her sister can do some damage as well at the plate. The 1-0 on the way. Catches the left edge of the plate for a strike. 1-1 the count. Montgomery getting the start today. It's her 9th start of the season. She delivers a 1-1, stays just upstairs. 2-1 the count. Here's the delivery from Montgomery. Downstairs, it'll be a 3-1 count now.
So you have a base open there at first, so you don't have to challenge her, give up a walk. No one's hurt as long as you get the next person up. But also, you don't want to just throw a bad pitch where she can just easily lay off. So
see what the outcome is. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a ball that just takes a skip off the left leg of Brooke Andrews. So count will go full. Coach Rhonda Ravel just double checking on her junior Brooke Andrews. Big payoff pitch coming here with 2 down in the top of the first. Ravel will head back to third base. And we're all set for the payoff. From Montgomery to Brooke Andrews with 2 down here in the top of the first. Here's the delivery. Swing and a foul tip. We'll do it again. And this is a big battle right here, Lucas, just between pitcher and Brooke Andrews, the batter. I mean, Nebraska's already scored a run, but this is a chance for either one to really set a tone. Here's the payoff. Brooke Andrews gets a ball to land in left center field. That scores a run, and it's Andrews who ends up setting the tone there, adding on another run. The Hoosiers can't get that last strike that evaded them time and again yesterday.
Yeah, as I mentioned, saw it a lot yesterday, and we're seeing it early today. Nebraska's been really good with 2 outs this year. It's nothing new, but IU really needs to find a way to get out of these innings.
So 2-0 advantage for Nebraska now over Indiana. Still 2 down here in the top of the first. First pitch to Abbie Squier, finds the zone for a strike. Abbie Squier batting in the 6th spot. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a foul tip back. 0-2 hole for Squier. And yesterday, again, bringing in that game from yesterday again. In the top of the first inning, Squier made it to the plate in the first half of the inning. It's a ball to Squier here. 1-2 the count now, and they even reach to Ava Breadwell at the 7th spot. We'll see if the Cornhuskers can do it again. Got a runner on at first, a 2-0 lead over Indiana. Here's a 1-2 count with 2 down. Swing and a ball sent to left center field. Kinsey Mitchell tracking, and it's out of here. Abbie Squier goes deep, and Nebraska picking up right where they left off yesterday, already with a 4-0 advantage over Indiana.
That one was up in the zone. She went and got it. and it just kept carrying. At first I thought potentially she could have gotten back to that one, but just went just over that fence. Nebraska out to a 4-0 lead early. Like you said, picking up where they left off.
Home run number 4 on the season for one of the team captains for Nebraska this season. And again, that's a situation where potentially the wind could have played a factor as Ava Breadwell steps in and takes a ball inside. 11-mile-an-hour wind at the beginning of the game from the south-southwest, and the flags at center field are blowing pretty much to the area that Squier hit that home run. So perhaps it caught a little help from the wind. Breadwell with the 2-0 count at the plate. As Indiana, Lucas, you were spot on, struggling to put Nebraska away with 2 down. Swing and a miss. Helping the count to 2-1.
So she gets the first strike there. So far, 7 batters faced in this inning. 5 of them first pitch balls. Need to try to get first pitch strike to get ahead in the count. Changes the entire at bat.
2-1, a bouncing ball over to third. The throw to first, it's high, but Stone able to come back down and touch the bag. There's out number 3, but Nebraska sets the tone early with a 4-0 advantage over Indiana. Sarah Harness ready to start things off in the bottom half of this inning, and Bassett starts off with a big swing for a strike. Cora Bassett leading off. 326 batting average on the season. 43 hits on the year. Indiana will look to start off and try and match that hot start that Nebraska had. Here's the 0-1 from Harness. Comes inside.
Obviously going down 4-0 in the first inning is not what you want, but with an offense that Indiana has, they're in every single game. I mean, they currently as a team are second in average. They're leading in home runs per game, on base percentage, slugging, and stolen bases per game. So they're far from out of this one.
Here's the 1-1. Bassett with a swing and a ball that will drift foul down the first base line. Yeah, they simply just can't get into a rut like they did yesterday. And similarly, they took a trip midweek to Notre Dame. A similar rough offensive performance. They fell 9-1 to Notre Dame. Got to find a way to get back to their offensive roots. No doubt.
You mentioned that game at Notre Dame. Last 2 games only have 5 hits, which is very uncharacteristic for this team.
Here's the 1-2 as Bassett tries to turn it around. Count even at 2-2 now. Let's take a look at the offensive batting order for Indiana. Cora Bassett, of course, leading it off. Then it'll be Taryn Kern, Taylor Minnick. That's who's due up here in the bottom of the first inning. Then Sarah Stone, Brianna Copeland, Avery Parker at 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, Cassidy Kettleman, Kinsey Mitchell, Brooke Benson. Here's the 2-2. Downstairs, count goes full. Let's also take a look at the defensive lineup for Nebraska. Again, getting the start in the circle, Sarah Harness. Behind the plate, Ava Breadwell at first, Maya Felder. At second, Caitlin Kaneda. At third, Sydney Gray. At short, Billy Andrews. That completes the infield. Take a look at the outfield after a payoff pitch from Harness to Bassett. Bassett with a swing, and we'll have another payoff pitch as she fouls it off. Finishing it off, Abbie Squier in left field. In center, Brooke Andrews and Caitlin Neal in right. Here's the payoff. Bassett takes, and she gets walked. So Indiana starts off with a runner on, and the ever-dangerous Taryn Kern, who leads the nation in home runs with 17, is up to the plate. Kern takes pitch 1 for a strike.
Yeah, speed, a lot of speed there on first. When you're playing behind, you usually don't see a lot of steals. But this IU team, like I said, leading in steals per game. So hopefully they can, if they want to have a chance to come back, they're going to have to try to get on the run.
92 stolen bases on the season for Indiana as a team. That's their bread and butter offensively. Taryn Kern takes another strike, much to the disappointment of Hoosier fans here at Andy Moore. Regardless, Kern will have an 0-2 count. See if she can overcome this hole here. Here's the 0-2 from Harness. The delivery stays upstairs. 1-2 count. So Taryn Kern with a 1-2 count. Again, talked about all the power in her bat. Again, 17 home runs, leading the nation in home runs. So a lot of power. It's just kind of about where she can find the pitch she likes in the count. Here's the 1-2 and a big swing right on cue. A home run for Taryn Kern. I don't know if she heard us or something, but she adds to her total. 18 home runs on the season with a no-doubter. Literally right before she hit that, we were talking about it's just about getting the right pitch. Obviously got a green light there for her. She swung for the fences. Indiana now trailing by 2. 4-2, in comes Taylor Minnick, still no one out. Minnick with a swing and a ball popped up high in the air. Tracking is the third baseman, Sydney Gray. Can't quite get there. So Taylor Minnick will start with an 0-1 count after fouling a ball off. So there's that response from Indiana. Similar story yesterday. Nebraska started out 3-0, and then in the bottom of the first, Indiana came back with 2 runs of their own. And today, here in game 1 of 2 to be played today, Nebraska leading Indiana 4-2 with nobody out here in the bottom of the first. 0-1 count to Taylor Minnick. Takes a strike. We'll make it 0-2. Minnick on the season again. Nothing to shy away from either. A .414 batting average, 8 home runs of her own. In the Big Ten All-Freshman team last year, second team All-Big Ten. She's building on her freshman campaign. She has an 0-2, takes, and a strikeout. Sarah Harness with her first strikeout of the game.
Punch for Indiana has been just simply amazing.
Stone takes. She'll start off with a 1-0 count, and that's a great point, Lucas. Throughout the year, really, Indiana's 1 through 5 spot, even sometimes 6 with Avery Parker, has looked like what Nebraska's 1 through 6 has been in this series so far. So we'll see if Indiana's hottest hitting part of the lineup can match that pace of Nebraska. Foul tip behind the plate and drifting on top of the roof of our press box behind the plate here at Andy Moore Field. 1-1 count for Sarah Stone with 1 down here in the bottom of the first as Sarah Harness tries to work back after giving a 2-run homer up to Taryn Kern. Here's the 1-1 to Stone. Off speed, finds the bottom edge of the zone. 1-2 the count now. Stone set for the 1-2. The delivery, swing, and a miss. And strikeout number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts for Sarah Harness. In comes Brianna Copeland now. Copeland with a swing, a bouncing ball over to Sydney Gray at third. The throw over to Felder at first in time. And that puts a close to the first inning. We'll head to the top of the second inning with Nebraska leading Indiana 4-2 on Big Ten Plus. Here in the top of the second, first up, Caitlin Neal. Caitlin Neal with a swing, a running grab by Taryn Kern. Tries to have a turnaround throw over to first, but was not quite in time. Wasn't able to turn around. That would have been a really tough play to make. So Neal starts off reaching on base as well. Now both in the top of the first and second inning, Nebraska's reached. I mean, Lucas, really up and down this lineup, they have found so much success in their batting order.
Yeah, actually, good for Neal to get a hit here. Last night, she was the only person in the starting lineup who didn't get a hit. So starting off the day right after last night, not joining the hit club.
Now in comes Abbie Newland. She signals bunt. Ball stays right over the plate. Be a foul 0-1 count. Newland, kind of a new face in the starting lineup. This game will be just her third start of the season. She was entered in as the DP in the same spot yesterday in the 9th spot of the order. That was just her second start of the year. On an 0-1 pitch, ball sent drifting back. That will drop, and Newland, again, we mentioned, not too frequent in the starting lineup, but she takes advantage of the opportunity there with another base hit.
Man, those are some of the best hits right there. You hit it right where the defense isn't.
Finds the open gap in left center field. And so now Nebraska has a runner on at first in Newland. And Caitlin Neal at second. And the card turns over now to Billy Andrews. And Indiana will have to go right back through that gauntlet.
This is not going to be easy to get out of this one.
First pitch to Billy Andrews, inside of the zone. Catches that left edge for a strike. Billy Andrews, she's got quite the home run ball threat as well. 7th all-time in Nebraska softball history in career home runs. She's at 38 right now. Here's the 0-1, stays upstairs. Down even at 1-1 now. So, I mean, Billy Andrews, she's got the home run ball, but she's also so strong just hitting in general. She's 5th in the Big Ten in hits this season with 49 now. She's set for the 1-1. Stays downstairs, 2-1. And again, with nobody out here in the top of the second inning, runners on at first and second. Crunch time again for Indiana's defense and Macy Montgomery in the circle. Here's the 2-1. Andrews with a swing, a ball into the glove of Benson at short. Out number 1 at second. Safe over at first, though, is Billy Andrews. So Hoosiers get 1 out and runners on the corners once again.
It is a big first out. Now a double play away from getting out of the inning. Not that it will be easy by any means, but a better chance of getting out of this inning with no damage done.
Pretty much the exact same scenario kind of unfolding here in the top of the second. Back in the top of the first, they had runners on the corners as well with 1 down. There goes Billy Andrews. The throw out to second, just upstairs. And so Abbie Newland gets into second and avoids that threat of a double play potentially. Or excuse me, that's Billy Andrews heading from first to second. Pitch into Kaneda is away. 1-1. So it's Billy Andrews at second. Caitlin Neal at third. Kaneda at the plate. Shows bunt, then pulls back and takes a ball. 2-1 to count. 1 down here in the top of the second. Nebraska leading Indiana 4-2. Made it grounded out back in the last inning. Now she fouls the ball off herself. Count will be even at 2-2.
Defense needs to be ready, needs to know where to go. If it's hit hard enough, look home. Hopefully you can keep the runner at third, but also need to make sure you get it out. Go to first.
Here's the 2-2 from Montgomery to Kaneda. Downstairs, count goes full.
And again, you're in a spot where a walk isn't the worst thing in the world. Opens up a force at any play, at any base, and allows you to go home a lot easier.
Full count to Caitlin Kaneda with 1 down in the top of the second inning. Runners at second and third. Payoff pitch from Montgomery. Ball sent down the first base line and foul. We'll have another payoff pitch. Three, 2. Here comes another payoff from Montgomery. Kaneda with a swing, sends the ball over to first, cross field throw, over to third, and a beautiful play by Sarah Stone.
Smart there, able over there to cover third. Great play by the first baseman, Sarah Stone.
And now they're saying out at second is Billy Andrews. They're going to say she was off the bag while the pitcher, Macy Montgomery, stepped back into the circle. And so there's a rather unlikely double play there. Nebraska thinks they're out of the woods. Instead, a beautiful play across the field by Sarah Stone to nab the runner at third. And then a bit of a mental mistake there by Billy Andrews at second. Hoosiers get that third out, and we will head to the bottom of the second, and Billy Andrews is not on the base for that second out. And so that's how the inning came to a close. So Hoosiers with a little bit of momentum defensively. Now Avery Parker on the other side of things leads off the bottom of the second for Indiana.
A huge break for IU right there, getting out of the inning with no damage done. Chance to come back and score some runs.
Parker with a swing, trying to beat the throw across the field, but plenty in time. Out number one. One down here in the bottom of the second. First pitch, a strike to Kettleman. Kettleman, a member of the freshman class for Indiana this year. A 1 count. Kettleman swings, and now 0-2 it'll be after fouling off a ball. Kettleman usually used defensively, sometimes as a pinch runner as well. This is just coming into this weekend, had 29 at-bats. Excuse me, after yesterday's game, 29. So this is just at-bat number 30 of the season. 0-2 hole for Cassidy Kettleman to try and work out of. She holds, takes the ball. So 1-2 count for Cassidy Kettleman. Sarah Harness still in the circle for Nebraska. Foul tip by Kettleman as she stays alive, and the Hoosiers cheer on the young freshman. Hailing from Amherst, Ohio. She won the Lorain County Miss Softball Award in high school. She was a 3-time first-team All-SWC in high school as well. Softball runs in the family. Her mom played softball at the University of Akron. Here's the 1-2 to Kettleman. Kettleman with a swing and another strikeout for Sarah Harness. Up next, she'll face off against the lefty slapper, Kinsey Mitchell. 2 down here in the bottom of the second. Nebraska leading Indiana 4-2. Mitchell signals bunt. Ends up taking the ball. Mitchell on the season really settling into her role here towards the bottom end of the lineup at 374 on the season. Takes the 1-0 upstairs. The appeal on the check swing. She did not go, so she'll start off 2-0 in the count. Kinsey Mitchell entering today 8th in the Big Ten in batting average. She's got a 2-0 count to work with against Sarah Harness. Takes a strike, make it 2-1 now. Again, Lucas, it'll be interesting to kind of see if after those big defensive plays to finish off the top of the second, Indiana can kind of carry that over and find some offense here. Again, with 2 outs in the bottom of the second, 2-1 count to Kinsey Mitchell.
Yeah, we'll see if the bottom lineup can turn it over to the top and get them going.
Mitchell with a swing and a slap over to the shortstop. The throw over to first in time. Out called at first. Kinsey Mitchell called out at first base. So 3 up, 3 down, and relatively uneventful Bottom half of the second inning. Macy Montgomery back into the circle for the Indiana Hoosiers, and leading it off for Nebraska in this inning is Sydney Gray. Hold on, because I don't see her out there right now. 1-0 count for Gray. She takes the ball. All right, so a 1-1 count for Sydney Gray. You're leading off the top of the third inning. The next delivery fouled down right past Rhonda Ravel down the third base line. Coach Ravel, again, the winningest coach in all of Husker athletics at Nebraska. Such a fantastic tenure she's had at Nebraska. For more on Coach Ravel, we'll send it down to Audrey Hausberger.
Yeah, with that 4-2 lead right now, if Nebraska takes game 2 today, that will mark Nebraska head coach Rhonda Ravel's 1,090th win at Nebraska. When I asked her before the game if that was an achievement she paid attention to herself, she said, honestly, not really. Ravel said she always tells her pitchers to take it one pitch at a time, and that Ravel does the same, but in her case, she takes one win at a time. She added that maybe once she retires from the sport, she will reflect back on her monumentous moments. But even then, she said she probably won't be like, wow, that's a lot of wins. She'll say, wow, I was a coach for a long time to be able to reach numbers like those.
Thanks for that, Audrey. Yeah, I mean, if Coach Ravel is not taking a look at what she's done, certainly the rest of the softball world is. A stellar career, approaching 1,100 career wins overall as well in her 31st season at Nebraska. Quite a career she has put together as a coach. 2-0 to Maya Felder after Sydney Gray grounded out. So we have one down now in the top of the third inning. 3-0 count for Maya Felder. She's ahead working against Macy Montgomery. Here's the 3-0. Finds the strike zone. Montgomery now tries to work back.
You mentioned all those wins. 5th total wins at a single program in softball history. That number's only going up, so.
Just a stellar career. And a swing, a bouncing ball into the glove of Brooke Benson over at short. The throw over to first. 2 down now in the top of the third.
So Montgomery's doing a great job keeping the ball on the ground right now, keeping Nebraska's power hitters at bay and able to get these quick outs.
They'll bring in Brooke Andrews. Andrews, last time she was up, singled. That brought home the first run of the game as well. First pitch this time around, swing and a foul ball. 0-1 count for Brooke Andrews. 2 down here in the top of the third. Nebraska still leading Indiana 4-2. Swing and a miss, 0-2 hole.
Huge chance to get out of this inning. 1-2-3, get it right back to those hitters, especially going 9-1-2 next inning. So,
yeah, really, Lucas, both pitchers have settled in ever since that first inning. Quieted both offenses. The 0-2 upstairs for a ball. The 4-2 score that we're at with Nebraska leading Indiana now, that was the score coming out of the first inning. No score in the second inning. 1-2 count for Brooke Andrews with 2 down here in the top of the third. Away, count even now, 2-2. Here's the 2-2 delivery from Montgomery. Upstairs, count goes full. Really nice job by Brooke Andrews to work back. Falling down 0-2. Here's the payoff pitch. Strikeout for Montgomery. She's fired up. She finishes off the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the third inning. Montgomery strikes out Brooke Andrews to finish off the top of the third. We'll be right back on Big Ten Plus. Nebraska leading Indiana 4-2. The only scoring in this game came in the first inning. So both teams trying to get back in the scoring column. A bunt laid down by Benson, and the ball slipping out of the hand of Sarah Harness. So Benson reaches. She may have had a chance to beat the throw anyways. She was walked, and then Taryn Kern followed it up with a homer. She's on deck next. First pitch to Bassett, in for a ball here in the bottom of the third inning. So Bassett set. And it looks like, again, we mentioned that she was asking if she needed tape in her first appearance at the plate. Looks like she got that tape on her left hand. The 1-0, swing and a miss. 1-1 count. Again, Harness doing a really nice job settling into her game after giving up the 2-run homer to Taryn Kern. Since then, 3 strikeouts. And a 1-2-3 bottom of the second inning as well. Benson's on at first, nobody out for Cora Bassett with a 1-1 count. Bassett holds, 2-1.
So she's also done a good job keeping the ball out of the air after that home run. Other than those 3 strikeouts, she had 3 groundouts. And it's a huge idea. It's what you want to do when you have such a power lineup like IU.
Harness set to deal the 2-1. Bassett with a swing, a ball that will drop in shallow right field. Bassett gets on this time. Perhaps the tape helped her out a little bit, so Bassett's on with a single. You said it last time, only a freshman. Let's see what she can do here. Runners on at first and second. Pitch gets away. Benson takes off for third. She's safe at third. Bassett heads to second. So all the runners advance on a pitch downstairs. Looked like Kern kind of checked her swing as well, so she's got an 0-1 count.
Yeah, I love Rhonda Vell down the left field line, doing the job for the umpire, calling her safe, just making sure that he knew.
Yeah, it is the head coach for Indiana, Shauna Stanton, watching over at third.
I said the wrong name. That's on me. That's on
You're
me.
all good. 0-1 to Taryn Kern downstairs. Nebraska leading Indiana 4-2, but the Hoosiers threatening here in the bottom of the third. No one out. 1-1 count for Taryn Kern at the plate. Cora Bassett at second. Brooke Benson at third. Sarah Harness with the delivery. Now 1-2, fouled off again by Kern.
Same count as our last at bat.
Can she do it again? Harness trying to not repeat history here. Working once more with a 1-2 count on Taryn Kern. Runners at second and third, nobody out in the bottom of the third inning. Here's the 1-2. Kern takes this time around. 2-2 the count. Hoosiers trailing by 2 against Nebraska here in game 2 of the 3-game series. Here's the 2-2 to Kern. Kern with a swing. A ball popped up high in the air to center field. Into the glove of the center fielder, Brooke Andrews. Brooke Benson checks up, and she's safe at home. A run scores. Taryn Kern gets the job done. Sacrifice fly to center field, scores a run. Now the Hoosiers just trail by 1. So in comes Sarah Stone. Takes pitch 1 off speed for a strike. Going back to that home run again. Audrey Hausberger, our sideline reporter, managed to hear a little bit of what the discussion was with Taylor Minnick. Minnick getting some coaching from Coach Stanton. Takes that coaching in and hits a home run.
It's like Courtney Wallace is up in the bullpen, preparing to come in potentially.
Stone with a 1-1 count. One down here in the bottom of the third inning. Hoosiers have already plated 3 in this bottom half of the third. Lead Nebraska 5-4 now. Here's the 1-1 to Stone. Stone takes. 2-1 count now. It's important to note yesterday, Indiana just scoring 2 runs. When they score anywhere from 0 to 2 runs in a game, they're 1-10 on the season. Only win against Maryland was 2-1. And there's, again, as you mentioned, Courtney Wallace getting warm should she hear her name called and need to come into the game. Sarah Stone pops the ball up down the first base line in foul territory, and a grab is made in right field again in foul territory by Caitlin Neal. So there's out number 2. 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. Sarah Harness still working in the circle for Nebraska. First pitch to Copeland with a swing and a pop up. Once again down the first base line, and this time it's Maya Felder who makes the grab. So Nebraska puts a close to the 3rd inning. Last time Squier was up, hit a homer. A 2-run home run by Squier extended the lead for Nebraska. Starts off with a 1-0 count. There's a swing from Squier, scooped up by Copeland. The throw a little low, but Stone with no trouble over there at first, 1 down. Now in comes Ava Breadwell. We talked about this a little bit in the top of the 3rd inning as well. Both of these pitchers, again, before that home run ball by Taylor Minnick, both Macy Montgomery and Sarah Harness were doing a nice job keeping the ball low enough in the zone and forcing ground balls. Let the defense do the rest of the work. Breadwell takes the ball.
You're spot on. You just want to keep doing that. Even if you are Harness and you've given up the lead and you come back out, you still want to do that. You want to keep it on the ground. And obviously for Montgomery, it's going to be important as well to hold the lead now that she has it.
1-0 to Breadwell, in for a strike, evening up the count at 1-1 with 1 down in the top of the 4th. Again, wouldn't be surprised if this matchup comes down to pitching, as the 1-1 to Breadwell popped up high in the air to center field. Kinsey Mitchell reading it and making the grab for out number 2. Both of these squads, Indiana averaging 6.8 runs a game, Nebraska averaging 5.3 runs a game. So pretty close together. It's just kind of about which pitching staff going to be able to limit, or at least that's what it seems like it's going to turn into as we have a 5-4 ball game, Indiana leading Nebraska with 2 down in the top of the 4th. In comes Caitlin Neal now. Montgomery calls time. She wants to reset against Neal. Neal had a single last time she was up.
Be a huge 1-2-3 inning here if she can get a shutdown inning, get the offense right back out there after they've been kind of catching fire.
Neal slaps the ball down the 3rd base line and just drifts foul. So count even at 1-1 for Caitlin Neal, who is just the second of 2 lefties in this batting order. It goes righty and Billy Andrews, Caitlin Kaneda, a lefty, and then rattling off 5 straight righties until we're back to the lefty, Caitlin Neal now, and then they finish off in Newland, a righty. Ball on the ground, into the glove of Kern, and Lucas, as you mentioned, Indiana able to get another 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 4th. We'll see what's in store for their offense as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Indiana leading Nebraska 5-4 on Big Ten Plus. My father also celebrating a birthday today.
Well, happy birthday to him.
Yeah, despite his request, he wanted maybe them to try and pause the game and everyone can sing together to him. Dad, I'm sorry, not going to be able to make that happen. Maybe I'll try next time. But so wishing a happy birthday to Adam, Diane, and Jim listening in at home. Now back to the game action here. Indiana leading Nebraska 5-4. Avery Parker kicking off the bottom of the 4th inning. Takes a ball for a 1-0 count. Now pops the ball foul out of play. Sarah Harness once again into the circle for Nebraska. 1-1 count for Avery Parker. This time up and away from Avery Parker. So Coach Rhonda Ravel, pitching coach as well, Lori Sipple, opting to keep Sarah Harness in, maybe liking her matchups against this bottom part of the order. Did a good job against 6, 7, and 8 so far. Last time she saw 6, 7, and 8 in the bottom of the second inning and went 1, 2, 3 through that part of the order. So trying to repeat that performance here on a foul ball by Avery Parker down the third base line. Count even at 2-2. 2-2 count. Avery Parker working against Sarah Harness. AP leading off the bottom of the fourth for Indiana. Here's the 2-2 from Harness. Parker another big swing and a foul ball. Count will stay at 2-2. Some movement in the bullpen once again for Nebraska. This time it's Kendall Maingle getting a little bit of work. Once again, a 2-2 count for Avery Parker. Next delivery, another foul ball. Avery Parker continuing to stay alive.
Great job working the count, fouling off these tough pitches, just waiting to get her pitch to drive one, get one through the gap, or potentially even draw a walk if she needs to.
Still a 2-2 count. Here's the next offering from Harness. This time a ball just out of the glove of Sydney Gray, and it'll drop in left field for a single for Avery Parker. Parker wins the battle. Coach Stanton said that helps her see her pitches better, and then they get inserted into games, and using that skill of improvement, seeing the pitches, reading the plate, turns into some success. We'll see if Meeks can continue that success here against Sarah Harness. Avery Parker at first, nobody out in the bottom of the fourth. 0-1 count to Abbie Meeks. Meeks swings again, 0-2. Five, 4. Indiana leading Nebraska. There's the 0-2 delivery. Another foul tip by Abbie Meeks. In this inning, no shortage of foul tips. Avery Parker had a 2-2 count and fouled off 3 straight pitches. Now Abbie Meeks fouling off a pair of pitches as well. Count still at 0-2. Harness searching for that last strike and the first out in the bottom of the fourth. Here's the next offering from Harness. Meeks with a swing, another foul tip. Count still at 0-2.
I like to say it's an art being able to come off the bench and hit productively. When you're sitting on the bench all game and watching people play, you come in cold. Being able to work a count like this, being able to foul off pitches, be able to come in and hit the ball well, batting .304, that's an art. That is a tough thing to do.
Here's the 0-2. Meeks with a swing, and there's a strike. Sarah Harness wins that battle. The fans lining the upper fences as well, and plenty of fans out in the left field grass area beyond the fence as Mitchell takes a ball. It's a beautiful day for softball.
It's gorgeous.
About 80 degrees out there. No rain in the forecast either. Just a little bit of wind out to left center field. The 1-0 to Mitchell. Stays downstairs. 2-0 count for Kinsey Mitchell. So 2-0 count for Kinsey Mitchell. 2-0. Mitchell slaps the ball foul, making the count 2-1. Sarah Harness finds the first out in the bottom of the fourth in the form of a strikeout on Abbie Meeks. She's got a 2-1 count on Kinsey Mitchell. Beautiful off speed. Catches Kinsey Mitchell looking. Count even at 2-2. That was a gorgeous pitch.
Yeah, I mean, going from fast to slow like that, especially on a slap hitter, just completely getting her out in front. Nothing she can really do about that.
Here's the 2-2. Mitchell slaps the ball up the middle, gets past the shortstop, Billy Andrews, and Avery Parker moves to second. Kinsey Mitchell with a single. One down here in the bottom of the fourth. Runners on at first and second. Sarah Harness deals the first pitch strike to Brooke Benson. Sun really shining down on the field here at Andy Moore again. The 0-1 count to Benson. Benson takes upstairs. Again, this game started off hot, seeming like Nebraska might continue their strong offensive performance from yesterday, starting the game off leading 4-0. Indiana responded with 2 runs in the bottom of the first, then added 3 more in the bottom of the third. That's where we are now, with Indiana leading 5-4. Swinging a foul tip by Benson. Hoosiers with runners on at first and second with 1 down here in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, this young squad at IU has done a great job rebounding, not just from last night, but from the beginning of this game, going down 4-0, coming back now the lead, chance to add on more. Great resilience from this squad.
Here's the 1-2. Benson with a swing and a ball that's ripped foul down the third base line. So again, a 1-2 count. It's a great point. Indiana trying to work back after that 12-2 loss yesterday. Once again, we take a look into the bullpen. Courtney Wallace, who pitched that stellar game yesterday, getting a little action in the bullpen, warming up. Here's the 1-2 to Benson. Downstairs in the dirt, count even at 2-2. You know, from my point of view as an announcer, I thought it was a pretty strong game, especially coming in after that rain delay. But if you ask Coach Rhonda Revelle, they were so proud of her after the game because she didn't even have her best game, according to Revelle. But she's our main leader, and they were proud that she was able to get that outcome even in a game when it was not her best. As Benson swings and strikes out. Bassett with a swing, a 1 count. Runners on at first and second, 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth. Next delivery to Bassett. This one stays downstairs. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 to Bassett. Big swing and a miss. Another off-speed pitch. It catches a Hoosier batter. It's a really nice pitch from Harness. Got a 1-2 count. Encore Bassett, an opportunity to strand the Hoosier runners at first and second. See what she goes to this time. The 1-2 on Bassett. Stays just away. 2-2. You mentioned it a few times. Sarah Harness in the circle, other than those 2 big home runs, it's really been a performance where she's limited the hard-hitting bats of Indiana, keeping base hits to singles. 2-2 makes the count go full.
I mean, when you look at this game, oftentimes when she gets the first strike, she's getting outs. But when she gives up that first ball, it's been a lot tougher for her. So that is going to be the key throughout the rest of this, throughout the rest of her outing, is getting those first strikes.
There's a big payoff pitch here for Sarah Harness against Cora Bassett, an opportunity to strand runners for Indiana and put the inning to a close. Bassett trying to continue it. Here's the payoff pitch. Bassett with a swing. A ball popped up to left center field. And getting under it, that's Brooke Andrews. So Harness does a good job finishing off the bottom of the fourth, stranding 2 runners on. The score stays 5-4, Indiana leading Nebraska. Just a gorgeous day. The stands reflect that weather. They're packed full. Fans out in left field as well. As we kick off the top of the 5th, Abbie Newland leads off in the 9th spot as the DP. Starts off with a 1-0 count, taking a ball from Montgomery, who's still in the circle for Indiana.
Yeah, Newland's last at bat, grounded over to first, ended up with that weird double play that we weren't expecting. Since then, it's just been shut out for Macy Montgomery. Just back-to-back 3-and-out innings. She looks to continue this stellar outing.
Delivery scrapes the strike zone inside of Newland. 2-1 now. 9-1-2 the batters due up here. 2-1 stays away this time. 3-1 now. Coach Ravel tries to coach her Cornhuskers back into a tie ball game, or trying to take the lead here potentially. Here's the 3-1 to Newland. Strike. Newland was halfway out of the batter's box. Full count. It's awfully close.
She might have a point there. It was on the corner for sure.
Payoff pitch. Takes one hop off the dirt into the glove of Taryn Kern. Throw over to first. Ends up in and out. Today, Montgomery taking care of business, working through chunks of the lineup as well, aside from that first inning. See if she can do it again here. Here's a swing from Billy Andrews, and a line ball into right field for a single.
I was about to say, first time through, it looked like they were going to keep doing it. The second time through, they'd been shut down, but Billy Andrews quickly getting on top of that ball. Quick base hit to get a runner on for the first time in a couple innings.
I'll bring in Caitlin Kaneda. See if they can continue on. One down here in the top of the 5th. Kaneda at the plate. Kaneda with a swing. A ball sent to left center field. That drops. Another single. So Kaneda does get the job done with another base hit. Now, once again, that top part of the order doing damage.
I wonder if Coach Ravel says something. Back-to-back first pitch hits.
Yeah.
Just going after these first pitches. And that one wasn't too bad of a pitch. It was kind of softly hit, but it just blooped into center field. Now runners at first and second, only one away. Chance to do some damage for the first time in a while.
Sydney Gray had a home run yesterday. First pitch to Gray, a ball. Indiana with a 5-4 advantage right now over Nebraska, here with one down in the top of the 5th. 1-0, a bouncing ball. Skipping out of the glove of Taryn Kern. She has to go retrieve. The runner at third comes home. And a tie ball game. Billy Andrews takes advantage. Heads up base running by Nebraska. A bobbled ball by Taryn Kern. We've got a tie ball game.
That's when it looks like she was just trying to make the play before, or trying to make a big play before she made the simple play, and unable to get any outs. Still one away.
5-5 ball game now for Maya Felder, with runners on still at first and second. One down. There's a look once again as Kern just tried to scoop it up on one hop.
Yeah, this didn't help. There was a runner coming right in front of her as she did that, and that can play a big role in if you can make that play or not.
The 1-0 stays upstairs. 2-0 now. There's a big swing. A ball sent to right field and skipping on past the right side of the pole down the first base line, making it a 2-1 count now. Tie ball game here. Nebraska once again relying on that top part of the lineup. A bouncing ball off the bat of Felder. Benson retrieves. Throw over to first in time. 2 down now. Runners advance. So 2 runners in scoring position. Caitlin Kaneda at third. Sydney Gray at second.
That was a slow roller. It was a tough play. It was good just to get one. Smart play just getting out at first. Chance to get out of this inning with no damage. You have a base open. If you get down early in this batter as well to Brooke Andrews here.
Brooke Andrews back in the top of the first inning had an RBI single. This time her at bat starts off with a strike. Tie ball game. Again, 2 runners in scoring position for Nebraska, second and third. Here's the 0-1. Big swing from Andrews. Popped up high in the air to center field. Kinsey Mitchell reaching for it, and it drops. 2-run score, and now a 7-5 lead for Nebraska.
2 errors in this inning leads to 3 runs. Losing the lead, that one's got to hurt, especially for Mason Montgomery in the circle. Been pitching so well.
Kind of just comes down to if it made contact with Mitchell. First pitch strike to Abbie Squier, who had a home run back in the top of the first inning, 2-run homer. 1 count. The delivery, a big swing and a single at least over to right field. Runner coming home. Another run scores for Nebraska. I said the runs have been coming in bunches. They certainly are here for the Cornhuskers. They now lead 8-5. They're having a big top half of the 5th inning.
Yeah, and get back to that issue, trying to get out of innings. A lot of these runs coming with 2 outs, just like last night.
That's a great point. Indiana just so close, seemingly to escape, and then Nebraska just puts their foot on the gas pedal. There's a 1-hop into the glove of Bree Copeland at third. There's that final out. But Indiana allowing 3 more runs off the electric bats, at least this series. So Nebraska opting for a new arm in the circle.
Yeah, I don't think we see Wallace if Nebraska is losing here. But once they take the lead, it's a good decision to bring in your best pitcher, a chance to shut them down, take the win. You win the series, you go into 3rd game without nearly as much pressure.
Well, the 2022 inaugural Rawlings NFCA Gold Glove Award recipient enters into the circle after a great day yesterday. 5 innings, the complete game as Nebraska did run rule Indiana. 2 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, I should say. But I mean, the stat line may not be the prettiest, but they took care of business. Here against Taryn Kern, a 1-1 count after a foul ball. Kern with a home run so far and a sacrifice fly that brought home a run as well. 8-5 ball game. Nebraska leading Indiana. Courtney Wallace giving Indiana a lot of trouble yesterday.
Yeah, and with that home run, Kern looking to break out of a little mini slump. Only 1 hit in her last 4 games. Hopefully she can kind of turn a corner with that home run and find the right track, and I'm guessing she will with how she's played this year.
There's the 2-1 on the way from Courtney Wallace to Taryn Kern. Kern swings, another foul tip, hitting over the top of the Nebraska dugout. Count even at 2-2.
Almost a great catch by a fan over there.
Kern leading off the bottom of the 5th inning. Nebraska tacking on 4 more runs in the top half of this inning. Take an 8-5 lead. Here's the 2-2 to Kern. Kern holds, downstairs, count goes full.
Nothing new here from Kern. Been a patient hitter all year. I believe 32 walks on the season, which leads the Big Ten. So nothing new here for her.
Payoff pitch coming. Wallace with an opportunity to set the tone in her outing, and a swing and miss from Kern. Wallace starts off with a strikeout. Against Taylor Minnick. Minnick had a single. Tries to get on here. Starts off with a ball.
Yeah, she had one of the 2 hits yesterday for IU against this pitcher, and we'll see if she can kind of get something going here for IU. Mentioned it before, it's important to get out of these innings quickly right after your team has scored, get them right back going, but for IU it's important to get those runs because you don't want to get kind of set behind after they take that lead.
1-1 count for Taylor Minnick.
Especially we saw Courtney Wallace struggle a little bit early, potentially get to her early again.
Starts off hot, though, with a strikeout against Taryn Kern. 2-1 count against Taylor Minnick. Minnick holds again. Overall in the series, Nebraska leads Indiana 12-9, so it's an awfully close series all time. Here's the 3-1 to Minnick. Inside, Taylor Minnick's walked. In comes Sarah Stone. Wallace gets the call from her dugout. And now set to deliver for the first time today to Sarah Stone. Fouls the ball down the third baseline. Hayes has to trot back over to first. Nebraska at 10 hits today. Indiana at 6. Here comes the 0-1 to Stone. Stone holds. It's away. Indiana getting some action in the bullpen as well now. Heather Johnson starting to warm up. Potentially see a change in the top of the 6th. For now, a 1-1 count to Stone. She holds. Strike called on the outside edge. 1-2. Hayes is at first. The 1-2 to Stone. Stays outside. Count even at 2-2.
It's a very, very good take right there. It's a tough one to take.
It's a 2-2 delivery. Stone swing and a miss. Another strikeout. Comes Brianna Copeland now. Copeland takes downstairs. Indiana trying to take advantage of Tatum Hayes at first after Minnick was walked. Hayes came in to pinch run. She's in her stance at first. Copeland with the 1-0 count at the plate. Delivery, big swing and a miss. There goes Hayes, and she is caught on the base paths. Tatum Hayes caught stealing. That puts a close to the bottom of the 5th. We'll head to the top of the 6th inning. Nebraska leading Indiana 8-5 on Big Ten Plus. That finishes off the bottom of the 5th inning. Here starting off the top of the 6th, Caitlin Neal, the lefty slapper, sends a ball foul. Macy Montgomery back into the circle for Indiana. Heather Johnson is warming up in the bullpen, as we saw back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Montgomery working on an 0-1 count against Neal. Now 0-2 on another foul ball back. Neal leading off. Abbie Newland due up next. And the card turns over once again to that dangerous part of the lineup, starting with Billie Andrews.
I would be surprised if Macy Montgomery saw the top of the lineup again.
The 0-2, a reaching slap by Neal. Once again, foul, 0-2.
It's hard enough when they've seen you twice. It's 3 times.
And they're going to say she left the box, I believe. Or foot was potential. So there are 2 possibilities. One is that her foot was outside the box. It's really actually the only possibility I could think of.
That's what I was thinking.
Let's see. So her foot came over that inside edge. So that's why she was called out. Now in the 9th spot, Abbie Newland.
Once again, great job by the umpire to catch that. It's something I probably would have never caught.
Abbie Newland starting off with a 2-0 count. Last time she was up all the way back in the top of the 2nd inning, had a single. Here's a swing to right center field. Kinsey Mitchell tracking it this time and making the play. So 2 down. And now it's decision time for Indiana. We'll see if they allow Macy Montgomery to see this top part of the order once more. For now, looking like she will. Nobody on right now, so they do have a little room to work, obviously barring any home run from Andrews. And again, she is 7th all-time in Nebraska history in career home runs. Takes pitch 1 for a strike. 0-1. Indiana getting 2 outs already here in the top of the 6th. Upstairs. One count. Swing and a foul ball. 1-2. Montgomery, this is a big at-bat for Montgomery in the circle. Trying to get the out on Billie Andrews, who has just been so tough to get out. Consistently reaching at the top of this lineup for Nebraska. She's got a 1-2 count now in the box, with 2 down here in the top of the 6th. Montgomery calls time, wants to center herself really quick and have a conversation with her catcher, Avery Parker, to get this out. Here's the 1-2 downstairs, inside. 2-2 count now on Billie Andrews. Were Billie Andrews to reach, it would be Caitlin Kaneda due up next. 2-2 count. Swing and a miss, and Montgomery gets it done. That was a big strikeout by Montgomery. Thanks, Audrey. Yeah, Team 50 living up to that significance. Program record 23 straight wins earlier this season. It came to an end a few weekends ago at Minnesota. But Indiana really starting off hot this season and trying to find that rhythm once again here against Nebraska. Bree Copeland at the plate now with the 1-2 count in the bottom of the 6th inning. Count now even at 2-2.
And you mentioned it, dropped 4 or 5 after that streak ended. And today, obviously, they have struggled to keep the lead. Be a huge couple innings here. If they can make a comeback and get a win, it'll be a huge step forward for this team.
Here's the 2-2. Copeland with a swing and a foul ball down the third baseline. Stays alive. 2-2. Copeland leading off the bottom of the 6th. Avery Parker due up next.
And it's important to chip into the lead here in this inning. You do not want to go into the 7th down by 3, especially with this pitcher on the mound. You really want to chip into it if you can right here.
There's the 2-2. Stays upstairs. Full count as Copeland rallying in the count, and rally caps on for Indiana in the dugout. Trying to will Indiana back into this game. The lead off in the bottom of the 6th. Copeland has the count full. Here's the payoff. Copeland with a big swing. A ball sent to left center field and gone. Maybe the rally caps worked.
I think they did. I mean, that's the magic right there.
Or maybe Copeland's just swinging the bat like
she ripped that one.
So a home run. Indiana now back within 2 for Avery Parker. Avery Parker with a swing. A ball sent to left center field, but not quite as much distance. And a nice play by Abbie Squier to make the grab as she had the center fielder, Brooke Andrews, approaching her quickly. Andrews up to the plate. Kinsey Mitchell due up next. Big swing and miss from Andrews.
Once again, coming off the bench, not the easiest thing. Tried to get a good pitch off the first one, get a rip, but just missed that.
0-1 count for Leah Andrews. Andrews shows bunt, then pulls back, takes the ball away. Quickly having to pull up. Count even at 1-1. Comes the 1-1 to Andrews. Andrews will swing, a bouncing ball into the glove of the shortstop. Throw over to first, out number 2.
Takes a good step, strong, straight throw over to first. Makes it look routine, but it's anything but when you get that kind of slow roll.
Mitchell holds, takes a ball. It's a close game. Indiana within 2, but Nebraska, that was a big top of the 5th inning for them to add on 4 runs. Really put the Hoosiers' backs against the wall here. 1-0 stays upstairs, 2-0 now to Mitchell. Mitchell had a single back in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 for 2 today. Here comes the 2-0. Mitchell takes inside. 3-0 count for Kinsey Mitchell with Brooke Benson due up next. Last time Benson was up, she struck out. It's 3-0 from Wallace to Kinsey Mitchell. Delivery finds the zone for a strike.
This is intriguing. Compared to Nebraska, who has, I believe, 6 or 7 of the runs with 2 outs, IU 0 for 4 with 2 outs. So they have not been able to kind of run with it with 2 outs, not been able to extend the innings. Chance here for Mitchell to do just that.
3-1 downstairs, 5-pitch walk. Right on cue, Mitchell will take first. And in comes Brooke Benson. Big spot for one of the leaders of this team, Brooke Benson, in her junior season with Indiana. Big spot before the card would turn over. 2 down here, Kinsey Mitchell at first. Courtney Wallace in the circle. First delivery to Benson upstairs. And that will draw a conversation from Ava Breadwell behind the dish. Let's come out and talk to Courtney Wallace. Got a big opportunity here. Kinsey Mitchell on at first after getting walked. 1-0 count at the plate with 2 down. Her Hoosiers trailing by 2. Inside again, 2-0 count.
I stand corrected.
This is a big at-bat again, with Indiana trying to turn the card over. Here's the 2-0. Downstairs, 3-0 count.
I'd be guessing right here she does not have the green light. Chance to get the leadoff hitter right here would be huge, with a chance to crack into that lead just a little bit more.
8-6 Nebraska leads Indiana. Big pitch here, 3-0 on Benson. There's a strike. 3-1 now. Or Bassett due up next. Turn the card over. Benson's able to reach. Kinsey Mitchell's at first. 3-1 count at the plate. Courtney Wallace trying to fight back, starting off 3-0. Here's the delivery. And a strike is Benson way out of the box and on her way to first.
She was halfway to first before she came back.
Strike called. Now a payoff pitch. This is a big pitch here. Courtney Wallace and Brooke Benson in a showdown. Here's the delivery. Benson with a swing. A bouncing ball over to the third baseman. Kinsey Mitchell rounding second. It doesn't matter, though. The throw over to third from Sydney Gray. In time, Maya Felder retrieves, and that will finish off the bottom of the 6th inning. So we'll head to the top of the 7th. Indiana trying to keep it close, and then they'll have the top of the order in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll be back on Big Ten Plus for the top of the 7th inning. Here's the 1-0. Count 2-0 now. Count to Kaneda in for a strike. Kaneda leading off the top of the 7th. Freshman from Cerritos, California. Here comes the 2-1. Hit hard and down the first base line. Base hit for Kaneda. Lead off on.
Obviously not the start you wanted to the inning.
Now in, Sydney Gray had a home run yesterday. Single today, as well as reaching on an error. Here's the first pitch to Gray. Gray, a ball up to Benson. She touches the bag for one, over at second, and the double play on the throw over to first. Benson does it herself.
An absolutely gorgeous play here. Take a look right here. Up the middle. Benson takes it. Throw over to first. Great stretch there by Sarah Stone. Huge double play. Right when it looked like Nebraska was trying to start off a big inning. Shut down the very next pitch.
Yeah, stellar job by Stone to keep that foot on the bag. All skipping back behind the catcher, Avery Parker, and that's why that double play also was so big, is because when the pitch comes behind, that certainly would have allowed a runner for a stolen base, and wow, Sarah Stone just able to keep her foot on.
Maisie Montgomery has 101 pitches. That is the most for her this year. Trusting in her to go the full 7.
Maya Felder with a 2-0 count. Felder 0 for 3 on the day. 2-0, swing and a foul tip. Count goes to 2-1 with 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Again, it'll be the top of the order for the Indiana Hoosiers. An 8-6 ball game, Nebraska leading Indiana. Hoosiers trying to even up the series. Here's the 2-1 to Felder, just outside the zone, 3-1 now. Here comes the 3-1. In the zone for a strike. Payoff pitch coming. Montgomery with an opportunity to get the final out in the top of the 7th. See what she dials up. Here's the delivery. A swing and a ball. Under it is Taryn Kern. There's 3 outs. Indiana's defense gets the job done. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th, top of the order. Indiana trailing by 2 on Big Ten Plus. Courtney Wallace, who took care of the Hoosiers yesterday, trying to do it once again. Bassett takes pitch 1 for a ball. Bassett, Kern, Minnick due up here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
So when Bassett's gotten on, she scored today. So if you can get on, it'll be a huge start here for IU in the 9th or 7th.
1-0, upstairs again. 2-0. Bassett leading it off. Wallace getting the call from the Nebraska dugout. Here's the 2-0. Downstairs, 3-0 count for Cora Bassett. Hoosiers were threatening back in the bottom of the 6th after Copeland hit a home run and then Kinsey Mitchell was walked. Defense ended up coming up big, getting the final out. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Bassett with a 3-0 count. Downstairs, 4-pitch walk. So the tying run comes to the plate.
Being able to adjust. You've seen this pitcher, what now? I think 4 times now. It's your 5th time. Being able to adjust. You've seen her enough trying to get the chance to get a solid hit. You don't have to hit a home run, obviously. You just get a solid hit, keep the line moving.
First pitch to Kern in for a strike. Bassett, 4 pitches, walked. She's at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Taylor Minnick due up next. A 1 count for Taryn Kern. Wallace after the talk with Coach Rhonda Revelle. Swing and a miss from Kern. Early 0-2 count on Taryn Kern.
I would throw it up again. Throw a fastball up. Try to get her to climb the ladder. I wouldn't risk leaving anything in the middle of the plate.
Here's the 0-2. Kern with a swing, a ball sent to left center field, and the grab is made. Just a few feet away. Kern flies out to left center. Wow, that was close.
Just missed.
In comes Taylor Minnick with 1 down now. Minnick also homered in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-run homer for her as well. The first pitch to Minnick, strike. And Bassett is on at first. 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Nebraska leading Indiana 8-6. Here's the 0-1. Minnick, a big swing and a strike. 0-2 hole for Taylor Minnick.
So after a 4-pitch walk to Bassett, coming right after these IU hitters. Didn't throw a ball to Kern, hasn't thrown a ball yet to Minnick. Obviously, I think that's what she's going for.
And you can tell these Hoosiers in Kern and Minnick, who have home runs already today, swinging for the fences. Here's an 0-2 pitch from Wallace to Minnick. Minnick with a swing, a bouncing ball. The throw out at second. Double play. Nebraska gets the win on a double play. They've guaranteed themselves at least a series win. They take down Indiana 8-6.